Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about, do covert narcissists think they're clever? Do you really think that they think they're clever? They think that they're smarter than you? And the answer to that may surprise you. Yes, a covert narcissist thinks they're very, very clever. They think they're up on the game. They think that they could fool anybody. They're masters of deception. That's what they are. A covert narcissist is a master of deception. And I'm going to get into the ways that covert narcissists think that they're clever, all right? Number one, covert narcissists, in the beginning, the way that they think they're clever is that they kill people with kindness, all right? They do this during the love bombing stage. They give you tons of flattery, tons of compliments. They give you plenty of attention. They have you on the phone for hours. And what's that going to do? That's going to fool you, right? So they think they're clever. They think by pretending they're all into you, you're going to fall for it. And, they're able to get whatever supply they want out of you. Now, certain people do fall for it, okay? Because you didn't know you're dealing with a covert narcissist, somebody who was playing a game with you, all right? They think they're clever because they think they could just tell you whatever you want to hear and you're going to believe it, all right? Maybe in the beginning you believe it because a lot of people want to believe it. They want to give somebody a chance. I remember when I was dating somebody, it was the thing where I said to myself, oh, he seems too good to be true. See, that's your first red flag. When they seem too good to be true, that is a sign that you have to move slower, okay? And that's why a lot of people, because it seems so good and it feels so good, people give them a chance, all right? But you have to ask yourself, why is this person being so nice so fast? And then I have the skeptics that come back to me and say, well, just because people are nice, you can't just assume they're a narcissist. Nobody is assuming they're a narcissist. But what I am saying is you have to question why they're being over the top, fake kind and fake nice, all right? Scammers do this all the time to hook their victims. They give people that are lonely or vulnerable plenty of attention, plenty of flattery, show them tons of affection, and it's all to play them, okay? But you have to move slowly, and in time, that person is going to show their true colors. Because like I always say, narcissists can't keep it up, you guys. So the way you kill the narcissist, their game, is to move slowly. And this is where one of their biggest mistakes, they always rush in because the narcissist wants to rush you. Narcissists rush relationships because they don't want to take their time. They don't want to keep up the act. They want to get in, they want to get the supply, and they want to get out because everybody eventually has an expiration date. If a narcissist does stay with somebody, it's because that person is offering something that the narcissist really, really needs, okay? But eventually, they will show their colors. But see, in this podcast, I'm talking about how covert narcissists think they're clever. So they think that they're clever in fooling you into thinking that, they really want you. You're the love of their life. You're their soulmate. They also think they're clever because they mirror you. All right, whatever you're into. Oh, you're religious? Me too. On the weekends, I go to, my religious organization. Oh, I'm part of the Bible club. Oh, or they send you a Bible verse or something, right? So I forgot to mention this. Some of them will do these kind of things, right? And they couldn't be farther from a religious person, and yet they think they're clever and pretending like, oh, they're religious. Or they'll say something to you like, let's pray together. Or let's say a prayer, babe, before we go to bed. I actually had a narcissist, you guys, who did this, all right? He knew that I was a religious person. I was a believer in God. And he tried all of these kind of things, all right? And they think they're clever. They think they're able to fool you, all right? And if you're not up on the game, people do get fooled by this. They think that they are genuine, especially the religious narcs, all right? They feel like, oh, if they're religious, or they're talking about religious, or they're talking about how, they go to church, synagogue, or mosque. Oh, they can't be a narcissist. No, they couldn't. Yeah, okay. All right. So covert narcissists think that they're clever in how they fool you, all right? They also use passive aggression to confuse you, all right? This is a key. And I talk about this all the time because in order to know a covert narcissist, you would know that they're passive aggressive. They don't communicate directly with you. They use passive aggression, and especially when they're angry with you, all right? So they think they're clever because generally they don't want a confrontation, all right? Because they're cowards, and they know that they'll lose in a confrontation. So when a covert narcissist is angry, they're going to be extremely passive aggressive. And I'm going to get into all the ways they're passive aggressive in the future. But ways they're passive aggressive, obviously, everybody knows this. They give you the silent treatment. They slam doors. They may show up late to spite you. They may have a face on at a family party. These are all ways that the covert narcissist could be passive aggressive. And I've experienced every single one of these, all right? This is how I know this so well and know these covert narcissists, because of real life experience, okay? So, but they think they're clever because when you sit there and you ask the covert narcissist what's wrong, what do? They gaslight you. They say, nothing's wrong. I'm okay. Nothing's wrong. I'm good. They lie, all right? They'll lie and say that they don't have a problem when they really do have a problem. Or a lot of times they'll be quiet. You could be riding with them in the car. They're quiet and you're like, boy, they're not even talking at all. Or they could just be sitting in a room with you and they could be quiet, and they're doing it deliberately, all right? Because they're angry. And again, when you try to, communicate with your partner, which we've all been conditioned to what we're supposed to do. Oh, you're supposed to have communication with your partner. Oh, you need communication. Well, not when you're dealing with a covert narcissist, okay? Because covert narcissists do not communicate directly. So they confuse you. They confuse you with this passive aggressive behavior and by gaslighting you. All right, now, I'm going to go through a little bit with the gaslighting. Gaslighting is key, all right? Key when you're dealing with narcissists. They do it all the time. The media, all right? Not to get into politics, and I'm not going there, all right? Because I know it's a very sensitive issue with a lot of people. But what I want you to do is have an open mind and realize that you are being gaslit by the media. It's all over the place. This is why you have so many people walking around confused, okay? Confused because they're hearing one thing on the media and it's not the truth. This is how they manipulate the masses, by gaslighting the people, all right? And they're very good at it. They may show half a clip and not show you the whole story. They tell you half a story. They change the truth around, okay? And this is where they think they're clever in trying to fool people. But one thing I will tell you is that the truth always comes out. The truth always comes out. And I'm seeing now that people are starting to wake up. People are starting to wake up and realize that not everything that they read or they see is the truth. At any time, you guys, like I see a media outlet, I always look at the source. And I could always tell by who's putting out that article what their political agenda motive is. What are they trying to do? How are they trying to manipulate? And it's clear as day, all right? It's clear as day what they're trying to do by manipulating people. So always look at who puts something out, all right? And whether it's a legitimate news outlet that you could trust, all right? But this is how they think they're clever, all right? This is how they're clever. This is how they manipulate people, all right? And it's the same thing with your everyday narcissist, all right? They think they can outsmart a therapist, Covert narcissists, somebody put this comment, and this is so true. Covert narcissists, when you go to a therapist, they will sit there, they will play the victim, they will, try to act, very meek in front of the therapist because they don't want to look like they're the bully. They want to make you look like you're picking on them, and they'll be really, really nice to the therapist. This is another thing that covert narcissists do. They'll be very, very nice to the therapist to try to win them over. Or they'll sit there and they'll be very quiet, all right? And they'll be taking it all in. They slowly chip away at your character to other people, and they do it from a place of concern. This is another way that they think they're clever. So what a covert narcissist would typically do to try to character assassinate you in a subtle way is they'll go to somebody, maybe a family member or a friend of yours, and they'll say, I don't know what's up with so-and-so. They need help or they need to talk to somebody. I'm very concerned about them. Now, you see what that cunning covert narcissist is doing? They're planting the seed into that person's mind that you have something mentally wrong with you. This is how they do it. And they think they're clever about it, okay? Because they're doing it from a point of concern. So people won't see, the wolf behind it. People won't see that they're an evil person because they're doing it from a place of concern, okay? They're concerned about you. And the same thing happens with the discard. What they're going to do is they're going to go around and tell everybody how they really tried with you. I really tried. They didn't give the relationship a chance. They're damaged from their exes. They can't trust anybody, or they'll say you were cheating on them and just bold-faced lie, okay, when they were the ones cheating. They love to do that too and project anything that they did onto you. So these are all the ways that the covert narcissist thinks that they're clever, all right? The other way is they think by telling you what you want to hear, they could fool you. And again, they do fool a lot of people because people take other people at face value. And I'll never forget this. When I was dealing with the malignant narcissist who actually told on himself, and in the very beginning of the relationship, he said to me, we were talking about something else, about someone else, and he said to me, well, sometimes people aren't always who you think they are. And wasn't he just talking about himself? He was talking about, this is a narcissist that's telling on themselves. Sometimes people aren't who you think they are, okay? But see, a lot of people take the narcissist at face value by what comes out of their mouths instead of vetting them out, all right? You don't know this person. There's a lot of evil in this world, and there's a lot of people in this world that don't care if they hurt you. This is one of the biggest realizations you're going to have in learning narcissism. That we are not all the same, okay? We are not all the same. That's why we say these people are demonic. They have a demonic spirit in them. Some of them are actually sadistic and get pleasure in your pain, all right? But they mask it because the devil comes as your friend, not as your enemy. Remember that, all right? And this is what they do. They come in as your hero. They think they could fool you by coming in as your hero. But their intent is not good. Their intent is to use you and to fool you and to deceive you the way the devil deceives, all right? So you've got to be smarter. You've got to be focused and be able to spot these demons, okay? And this is where they think that they're more clever than you because you may be an empathic type of person. And just because somebody is nice to you, you automatically think they're a nice person. That is not always the case, you guys, all right? That is not always the case, and I learned that the hard way. Just because somebody could be nice at times does not necessarily mean they are a nice person. They could be nice because they have an agenda, because they want to butter you up, because they want something out of you, all right? And this is where covert narcissists think that they're clever. So they'll tell you what you want to hear to get what they want out of you and to fool you. They'll tell you how much they love you, how much they care about you, how much they won't leave you, how much you are their everything. And it's all an act because they want you to think that they got your back. They want you to think that they're not going anywhere. They want you to think that they are your soulmate. It's all an act, all right? Now, going into other aspects of how they think they're clever. They think they're clever with the silent routine, all right? They go into a silent routine normally, okay, or generally rather, to punish you, all right? When a covert narcissist does not want to take accountability, what better way to avoid taking accountability than to stonewall you, not let you finish a sentence, walk out of the room, hang up the phone, and go into a silent treatment. Or they go into silent treatments because they're angry about something you said or something you did, and you don't even know why they're going silent on you. And this is what they do. And they think they're clever, all right? They think they're clever, and they'll gaslight you, and they'll tell you, no, they don't have a problem. No, I don't have a problem. I'm just tired from work. Oh, no, I got a lot on my mind. Meanwhile, that's not the truth. They're gaslighting you because they're angry at you. And later on, it erupts and it comes out, and you're like, they may snap out at you because they can't hold in that rage, that silent rage anymore. And you're like, what the fuck? Where is this coming from? Okay? Because the covert narcissist was fuming. They were a smoking gun, angry at you, but didn't tell you why they were angry at you because they don't want to be transparent. They want to hold it all inside. And they want to mind fuck you and torture you with silence till they can't take it anymore and they explode, okay? And this happens, all right? So this is another way that they think they're clever, but in the end, they show their hand. In the end, it all makes sense because you start to see a pattern in their behavior and you're like, wait a minute, not today, Satan. I see what they're trying to do, okay? They're playing mind games with me. The other way that covert narcissists think that they're clever by playing mind games is they play dumb. Covert narcissists love the dumb card or the amnesia card. And they'll say, oh, I don't remember. Or I don't know what you're talking about. Or they love to say, I honestly don't know what you're talking about. Beware, okay? Liars use that word all the time, honestly. I'm not going to say everybody that uses the word honestly is a liar, okay? I always get these people that come back and say that to me. Well, I use the word honestly and I'm not a liar. My God, okay? I can't tell you the level of ignorance that is out there. All right. So that's why I had to put this little disclaimer explaining, like, not everybody that says that is, you guys use your common sense, please. All right. So they play dumb. All right. And this is the way they feel that they're being clever because they feel, okay, you can't say anything because they're telling you, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I have no idea. Or they'll say, I don't even remember what I did yesterday. Like if you ask them a question about something that they did yesterday or a few days, they'll say, oh, I don't know. I don't even know what I did yesterday. Okay. Gaslighting. All right. And they think they're clever. They think they could fool you. They think you're a dope that's going to believe that. All right. So this is where they think they're more clever than you. All right. The other thing too with covert narcissists, they run hot and cold. So they'll run cold on you, and then maybe you'll pull back from them because you're like, hey, you want to run cold on me? I'm going to run cold on you. And then what they'll do is they'll warm up to you. The minute you start, withdrawing from them because you see they're being cold and now maybe you're pulling back, that's when they warm up to you. And again, this is what causes that cognitive dissonance in your brain where you say, they are being nice to me. Well, they're being nice to you because they see you're pulling back. That's what's going on. So look at the whole picture and see when they're trying to be warm to you. Most likely they're being warm to you because they see that you're starting to see through them, or they see that you're starting to pull back from them because they were cold to you. So they think they're clever in the sense that they think they can manipulate your feelings by running hot and cold. All right. But the thing with them is once you see the game, they are dead in the water, all right? They also think that they're clever with their half-truths. They tell you half the truth, okay? And then they lie. So this is what they do in thinking, in trying to fool you, in thinking that they're telling you the truth. They'll tell you part of a story that's true, all right? And the other half is not true, but because you heard part of the story was true, you're going to believe it. So that's another way that they think, oh, they're so clever. Another way that, they think they're clever and everything is the fact that they don't communicate directly, but, okay, their body language and their facial expressions tell you everything. The way they roll their eyes, the way they smirk with the corner of their mouth going up, the way they stare you down, the way they have sneaky eyes. All of this exposes the covert narcissist, because although they're not coming out and being transparent with it, you will see it on their faces. So here's what I have to tell you. You've got to be focused, all right? You've got to be focused with these manipulators, all right? You've got to be focused and see, you'll see it in their face. You will see it in their face. See, the thing with covert narcissists, and I know these people like so well because I've always been around them, is they keep you in the dark. This is the thing with the covert narcissist. They think they're slick because they keep you in the dark. They don't tell you when they're going to meet other people or when they have things going on. They don't include you in things, all right? They gossip behind your back. They smear you behind your back. They play the victim. Let's not forget the victim card. They think they're clever and they can get out of taking accountability because all they have to do is start crying or play the victim. And this is what they love to do. They wanna switch it up and make you into the bad guy. This is what they want to do. And this is why they cause reactive abuse. This is why you may try to sit down and talk to them and they'll blatantly lie to you with a smirk on. And they know that they're lying. It's like a joke, okay? It's like they're laughing under their breath at you. And they'll sit there and deny to the point where you snap off. You pop off. And they'll look at you and they'll say, why are you getting so angry? And this is going to make you even angrier. And this is how they think they're more clever than you, because they got you to react. They think that because they stay cool, because they don't react, that they are more clever than you. That may last in the beginning, but once you see the game, you're gonna be way more clever than them, because once you see what they're trying to do, and this is exactly what a covert narcissist tries to do. They sit back, they calculate, and then they attack in a passive aggressive way. But once you know how they operate, then you know not to react to that and not to take the bait. And that's where they're dead in the water, because now they have no control over you. All right. That now they have no control over you. See, their patterns will show you who they are. Their track record will show you who they are. They'll say one thing and they'll do another, all right? They'll gaslight to confuse you. This is all ways that they think that they're more clever than you. The other thing, okay, and I'm going to bring this up too. Wow, this podcast really, I should have made into 2 separate podcasts, because I have so much. I wrote down all these things that I was thinking about, how they try to, they think they're more clever than you. And I talked about how they try to hide money, all right? This could be during a divorce. They hide money, but they're not so clever, and I'll tell you why. Because during a divorce, if you want the judge to, you could ask the judge to subpoena their bank records, right? So when you subpoena their bank records, they may have taken a lump sum of money and withdrawn it out of that bank account. And guess what? Da-da! That judge is going to question them on that money, what happened to that money. And then what they're going to do is they're going to put a microphone up to them in the courtroom, and they're going to have it on the record saying what they did with that money. And there's always going to be a money trail. And this is how they get nailed. How do I know this? Because I went through it with somebody, okay? So this is where they think they're clever, all right? This is where they think they're clever. by saying they don't have money or they got rid of money when they're pinned down and have to trace what they did exactly with that money by a judge, all right? And they have it on record. And if they're ever caught lying, they will be in contempt of court. Bye-bye, okay? So this is where covert narcissists think they're more clever than you, all right? They also think they're clever in the sense that they manipulate the new supply to think that you're the monster, all right? So that the new supply will stay away from you. They also manipulate the new supply in making them think that you've been stalking them when you couldn't care less that the narcissist is gone. The other way that they think they're clever is they say they're, visiting family in other states or other cities when they're actually going to see other supply, because a lot of these covert narcissists have supply in other cities. Another way that they think they're clever is they delete apps off their phone. And I actually did this. This is brought to you by Yaz from the Game Exposed. Okay, I have to bring this up because I have all these YouTube pirate AI channels copying my content and putting out AI videos with influencers' faces like Mel Robbins, Jordan Peterson, and all these other big influencers, and they're using my voice content and switching it to AI and putting a picture of like Mel Robbins or something, okay? So I have to put these little inserts into my podcast to let you know that this is me, you guys. And another way that they think they're clever is they delete apps off their phone, okay? They delete apps off their phone before they come home, because they think you're an idiot. And what they'll typically do is they'll say something like, well, you could check my phone. You could check my phone. Any narcissist that sits there and says to you, well, you could check my phone, all right? That narcissist is shady as fuck, all right? That's what I have to say, because they're trying to prove that anybody who's sitting there trying to prove that they're innocent is generally guilty 99% of the time, all right? And this is one of the ways that covert narcissists think they're clever, by deleting apps off their phone or leaving their phone out. Meanwhile, their phone's been cleared out, right? So they do all these different kinds of tricks. They think they're clever because they triangulate and they bring other people into it, and they'll say, oh, now I see why your ex left you, or now I see why your friends don't talk to you, or your family doesn't talk to you. They think they're clever by trying to triangulate and make you feel like you're the problem because maybe you don't get along with these other people. They love to triangulate and bring others in to give their argument more power, more juice, all right? They project, this is how they feel they're clever, and call you everything that they are. They'll call you the cheater when they are the cheater, okay? They also, the way they think they're clever, because they tell you they're going to sleep at night when meanwhile they're going out and seeing other supply. And then the proof of the pudding is when they see you, they're falling asleep all over the place. They're falling asleep on your couch. They're falling asleep all over, and you're like, why is this person asleep? They've been telling me they've been going to sleep early every night of the week. Well, that's because they're out with other supply, all right? This is where they think they're clever. Till the victims finally get that light bulb moment and say, they're sleeping because they're up all night long, okay? And their game is eventually exposed. And that's when the covert narcissist is kicked to the curb. So really, how clever are they? They're not clever at all. They're actually, they may be clever in the short-term game, but in the long-term game, they always lose, all right? They are just masters of confusion, and that's the whole thing, you guys. They love to gaslight. They love to confuse you till you start to see the game of gaslighting. All right, I've talked about this time and time again about gaslighting. All right, once you see through that gaslighting, you're going to see the narcissist for who they are. All right, so they're all about confusion. Stop taking everybody at face value. This is what I have to say to you. Stop taking people at face value. You have to vet them out in order to see what they're about. All right, learn all the different kinds of ways they manipulate, the gaslighting, the blame shifting, the silent treatment, all these different ways that they manipulate. Once you guys understand all of this, you'll be able to spot a narcissist in a second. And never ever, remember what I told you? When I used to podcast on dating relationships, you guys, I used to say this all the time. I used to say, I'm going to put a plaque up on my wall that says, stop believing words, okay? Stop believing words. People have to show you, not tell you what they are, all right? You have to watch them and see their patterns of behavior. That's how you're going to know who and what you're dealing with, not by what they tell you. And the same thing, I'm going to bring it up on the news. Just because somebody tells you something or you read an article, don't always think that it's the truth. Always look at the source of where it's coming from, all right? Because they have an agenda of who they're pushing and who they're not. All right, so I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast and video. And if you're looking for one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. I've limited time, limited availability. So please book ahead. The other thing, check out my YouTube channel, almost 7,000 videos on there. I want to thank everybody for their love and support. I really, really do appreciate it. Also, you guys, TikTok is The Game Exposed. Facebook, there's been a lot of nonsense on Facebook. That's why I was going to center mostly on YouTube, all right? Because, Facebook and Instagram, you know what it is, okay? I don't have to tell you guys. But my Facebook and Instagram is The Game EXP123, and have a great day.